Food poisoning cases reached a 23-year high of nearly 7,000 last year, according to a report released by the Food and Drug Administration.
Authorities are asking people to avoid foods left out in the sun and foods found out in the wild. The FDA noted that last year, a man had died after eating a soup made of Central Formosan toads, a toxic endemic species that can be mistaken for frogs.
3 toads waiting for food in a row. They're cute but deadly if eaten. Last year, a Hualien man died after eating soup that was made using Central Formosan toad. It was Taiwan's first death by toxic toad in 8 years.
蟾蜍它主要作用是作用在心脏，因为它会作用在我们的心脏一个钠钾的这个通道。
The toad mainly acts on the heart. It will act as a sodium-potassium pump and cause hyperkalemia. The heart's contractions will become more intense. The tragedy last December was a great pity, because if only the patient had gotten to the hospital sooner. We actually have the antidote on the East Coast. It's very unfortunate that the patient was not saved in the end.
Here's how to tell them apart. Toads tend to have glands behind the ears that secrete white venom. Frogs have smooth, moist skin with no glands behind the ears. That's the most defining clue. Last year, 2 people died from food poisoning, one from frog soup that turned out to be made from Central Formosan toad. The other made a meal of wild mushrooms, including the green-spored parasol.
死亡这个其实非常罕见。
This kind of death is actually very, very rare. Of course, it could be that he had pre-existing gastrointestinal symptoms that caused him to go into shock, or he had eaten other poisonous mushrooms that contributed to his death. That's a question that warrants further investigation.
Every year for the past 10 years, more than 3,000 people have fallen ill from food poisoning. Last year, that figure soared to its highest in 23 years, hitting 6,944. Many of those cases are linked to school campuses. The Food and Drug Administration says to look carefully at what you eat and to store food properly. And if you must forage, don't do it without meticulous knowledge of wild species, lest you make a fatal mistake.